My name is Val, and then this is Carmen and Madison. We're all doctorate of physical therapy students at George Washington University, and we are super excited to lead you guys today through our basic exercise class. We do have 2 more classes coming up, so we hope if you like today's class, you'll join us for the next one, which will be kind of building off this class, a little bit more intermediate moves, but also still working on some of the basic stuff. Then we're going to have a posture specific class as our final class. So as we get started, we're going to start with a nice warm up for you. Then we'll move into our strength training and we'll end with a nice cool down. So I'm going to start our timer for us and we'll get rolling. Oh, and sorry, before you start, hopefully you have some water with you. The resistance bands that we handed out, if you don't have them, it's totally fine. You can do it without any resistance. And a chair, which we'll be using both for balance if you need it, you can stand behind and hold on. And we will be using it for some of the exercises. So hopefully you have a chair ready. All right, so standing with our feet hip width apart, we're just gonna start with some nice neck rolls. So you're gonna bring your chin down to your chest and then roll it in a nice big circle. Should be a nice gentle movement. And switch directions. And return to neutral. We're going to take those shoulders up and back. So forward all the way up to your ears and then back behind you. And then switch directions, back, up and forward, back, up and forward. All right, we're gonna step those feet out a little bit wider. We're gonna take our hips in a nice big circle. And then we'll switch, circling in the other direction. And then we'll come back to center. And we're going to take our right foot and circle the ankle, keeping the ball of the foot on the floor. And switch directions. Circling the foot the other way. All right, we're going to switch to the left foot. And then we'll switch directions on that left foot going the other way. All right, we're going to start bringing it up a little bit here. So we're going to do a step touch. So you're going to step to the right and tap your foot in. So you can do this as fast or slow as you like. We are trying to get the heart rate up just a little bit. So maybe speeding it up a tiny bit. All right, our next move, we're going to do a march in place. So we're going to bring our knees up as high as you can, and then adding in an arm swing on the opposite arm. All right, the next move, we're going to step out to the side and bring our arm across. So we're just stepping out and bringing the arm across. Fun little Zumba inspired move over here, courtesy of Carmen. This next move after this, we're going to use our chair for. So we're going to hold on to the chair for balance here. By the side, I'm going to bring my right leg in front. I'm just doing a little mini lunge here. So just bending and straightening my knees here. From the side, it looks like this. And we'll go ahead and switch. So the left foot is in front. Nice and small. All right. And then our last one, we're just going to focus a little more on the arms here. We're going to bring them all the way back and forward. So squeezing those shoulder blades together in the back. Guys are doing great. This is our last warm-up move. So after this, we're going to jump into our exercises. All right. So go ahead and take a sip of water and make sure that you have your resistance band handy. The way that we are going to be running this portion is as a circuit. So we're going to be doing 4 different movements. We'll do each movement for 45 seconds. Then you have a 15-second break in between. And then we'll repeat that 3 times. So I'm going to be kind of talking and walking you through it. And then Madison is going to be doing kind of an easier modification of the exercise. So she'll be doing a nice simple version. Carmen over here is going to be doing the non-modified version here. So you can kind of choose if something feels a little too hard for you. You can follow Madison instead. So I'm just going to do a quick demo of the exercises. I'll explain them more as we're going along. The first one, we're going to be holding the resistance band in the palm of our hands. And then from the back here, I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together as I'm bringing my arms apart. The elbows stay nice and close in. So that's going to be our first one. The second one, we'll be using our chair. So we're going to be sitting at the edge of our chair. And then we're going to do a little squat to stand up. Then we're going to sit back into our chair. After that, we'll be doing another seated exercise in our chair. So we're going to lift one leg up. Nice core exercise here. And then the other. So we'll do this kind of seated march or lifting one leg up. And then the last one in the circuit will be a bicep curl. So we can do this seated or standing. We're going to hold on to the resistance band here again in the palm of our hand and just do a nice curl up. And then we'll switch arms, do the same thing on the other side. So I hope you guys are all ready. We're going to jump into it. So again, first thing we're starting with is the scapular retraction. You're going to grab the band here in the palm of your hands. Elbows are nice and close in, and you're going to slowly pull apart. So it doesn't matter how many of these you do in each round, just as long as you keep it up for 45 seconds. So for an easier modification here, Madison is holding it a little bit farther apart, whereas Carmen's keeping it nice and tight here. So, and then Madison's going to turn around, and you can see in the back here, she's really squeezing these shoulder blades together. This is a really great movement for postural control. So it's going to help keep your shoulders back as you're walking around. All right, so we have our 15-second break. So we're going to set our band aside and get ready in our chair. So we're in a nice seated position kind of toward the edge of the seat here. So for this one, we're going to stand up, really pushing with your glutes here, and then sit back into the chair. So from the side here, you can see we're kind of sitting back into the chair. Madison is going to sit all the way back and kind of relax at the bottom before coming back up. And Carmen is just sitting and kind of hovering towards the edge and then standing back up right away. So this exercise is really great because you use it every day getting in and out of your chairs. And it's a nice kind of modified squat. It's going to help kind of strengthen your lower legs and your glutes here. All right, so our next one is also in the chair, so we'll go ahead and sit down. So Carmen will be doing the regular version with a straight leg, and Madison is going to be doing the modified version with a bent knee. So we're going to alternate legs. You're going to bring that leg out in front of you and lift up as high as you can, and then switch and do the other leg. So this is a nice core exercise here. You want to feel your core working as you're kind of lifting that leg up. Might also feel a little bit in your quads. You got 15 seconds left. I know this is one of our harder ones, so you guys are doing great. 3, 2, all right, you got your 15-second break here. So our next one, we are going to need the resistance bands, so go ahead and grab those. We know yours is a little bit shorter than ours, so you're going to step on the end and then holding the band down by your knee for the regular version that Carmen is doing, and then the version that Madison is doing is a little bit longer. We're just taking that and bringing your fist up towards your shoulder, slowly lowering it back down. So we're going to do this all on the right for this circuit, and next circuit we're going to incorporate the left arm instead. I like this one because I always think about doing this with my groceries when I'm grocery shopping, trying to carry everything home at once. So this is a nice one for that. All right, you guys survived the first circuit, so we're going to repeat all of that 2 more times. So you have about another 6 seconds for your break. So we're going to stand up, get ready for our scapular retraction. So we're holding the band in our palms, elbows are staying nice and close, slowly bringing it out and bringing it right back in. Very nice. And like we said, Madison's got a little wider grip here, so you can kind of adjust where you need to. If you feel like you need a little more challenge, you can bring those hands closer in. And make sure you're taking nice deep breaths. You're not holding your breath while you're doing these. So all right. Our next one is again in the chair for our modified squat. So we're sitting at the edge of our chair here. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what it looks like on the side. All right, so you're pushing through your heels here to come up, and then we're leaning the trunk forward as we come back down. So you want to feel the backs of your legs really working here. If you need help from the chair, you can push off with your hands a little bit here. Give yourself a little boost, especially if you happen to have arms on your chair. Or if you want a little more challenge, maybe you're just only hovering or sitting for just a second before coming back up here. All right, you guys are looking good. Okay, so we're gonna sit back in our chair here for our seated marches. Again, option of keeping your leg either fully extended or bent. Either one is good. So we'll go ahead and get ready, holding onto the seat of the chair, lifting that leg up. We're gonna alternate legs. It's only 45 seconds, so you guys are doing amazing. Again, you can switch, keeping this bent knee. And even with these ab exercises, you wanna make sure you're not just holding your breath the whole time. You're taking a nice deep breath in, nice deep breath out. All right, 10 seconds left. Last one. Nice. Okay, so we're gonna switch arms. So for me, it's the left. If you happen to do the left arm last time, I'm gonna keep it on the right. So this is for our bicep curl. Standing on the bottom of the TheraBand, holding it down by your knee. I'm gonna do a nice slow curl up. From the side here, you can see I'm keeping that elbow nice and close. Slowly bring it up, and you wanna lower it just as slowly too here. So we're gonna work it on the way up, and you wanna feel it working also on the way down. So don't just let gravity in the band kind of pull you back down here. Want to work against that. As you can see, Madison over here is doing kind of a smaller movement, starting here and going up. So you can always do that. Where Carmen here is going all the way to the bottom, bringing it back up. Got 3 more seconds. All right. So 1 circuit left of this, then we have another round for you. So you guys are doing so good. All right, so our next one actually is with the band. We're gonna be standing, holding onto the band, bringing it all the way out. So maybe this time because you followed Madison last 2 times and you're like, wow, I did really good. This is my last one. Gonna power through here. So I used to work as an aerial dancer, and I did these all the time as a way to kind of protect my shoulders, make sure that I was keeping my shoulders back in a nice posture. So this is a really good exercise for that. All right. Set those off to the side and take a seat. Getting ready for our modified squat here. So again, using the chair if you need to. Otherwise, you can keep your hands kind of out in front. Pushing through the heels. Feel your booty kind of work at the top there. Sitting it back down. You guys look so good. Oh, I'm so happy to see everyone working so hard. Only got 20 more seconds of these. All right, so after this, we just have our bicep curl left. So we're gonna do half on the right and half on the left this time. So we're starting with one arm, again, holding onto the band in the palm of our hand. We're gonna lift it up and slowly lower it down. Nice. All right, and then we're gonna swap it over to the other side. And then when you're ready, slowly lifting, elbow is staying nice and stable, close to your side as you pull up. And your wrist should also be in line with your body, so you wanna make sure it's not doing anything funky like this or pulling it up, so nice and neutral. All right, that was our first circuit. So we have one more circuit for you. Go ahead and take a sip of water. And we're gonna let you have like a little 30-second rest, 1-minute rest while I explain the rest of the exercises here. All right, so for our next circuit, we're gonna start behind our chair. I'm gonna be doing a calf raise. So I'm gonna turn to the side because I think it's a little easier to see it that way. So I'm holding onto the chair here if I need it for balance. My feet are hip width apart, right under me. And then I'm gonna come up onto the balls of my feet here. I'm gonna slowly lower it down, nice and controlled. So you should feel your calves working both up and also on the way down. So that is our calf raise. That will be our first exercise. After that, we're using the band again to do a row. So you can either do these seated or standing. So I'm going to show the standing version. I'm going to stand on the band. I'm going to hinge a little bit at the hips, so just bending slightly, but keeping my core engaged. And I'm holding onto the band wherever my hand kind of falls. So here, I'm going to row up. So I'm keeping my arm in. So we have this on the right. Then we'll do another exercise, and then we're going to switch and do it on the left. So in between the rows, we have a standing crunch move. So I'm going to keep my kind of hands back behind my head, and I'm going to twist, bringing elbow to knee. Now, if you do have osteoporosis, we want you to avoid the twisting motion. So instead, you're going to keep your back straight and maybe just keep your arms up and do like a high march. So if you have osteoporosis, you're doing this high march, nice core exercise also. If you don't, doing a nice slow twist. So if everybody is ready, we're going to go ahead and start our circuit. So again, we're starting behind our chair, holding on to the back. All right, so Madison here is going to do a seated version for people that need a seated version. She is sitting in the chair and just raising up to the balls of her feet. Carmen here is doing the full version here. We're coming all the way up and nice slow lower. So you should feel those calves working nice and hard here. You're using your calves a lot while you're walking. So this is a great one if you do a lot of walking, running, or hiking, or dancing. Really anything with your legs. All right, one more. Nice slow lower. All right, so after that, we're doing our row. So grabbing your band. Madison here is going to be seated. And then Carmen over here is going to be standing. So if you're standing, you're going to hinge a little bit from your hips, and you're pulling it in nice and slow. Same thing, we want to see a nice slow lower, so don't just let gravity and the band pull you back down. And make sure those muscles are working even to lower it. And same thing with the wrist here. We want to make sure that it's nice and neutral and it's not doing like a bend one way or the other.
Do you have a recommendation for what to do if you don't have a band?
If you don't have a band, but you do have a water bottle, you can grab your water bottle and use it almost like a free weight here. Otherwise, if you're just doing just body weight, we're going to focus on kind of squeezing that shoulder blade together in the back. So hopefully one of those will work for you. All right, our next move is our standing twist. So we're standing up, hands are back here. The modified version is seated, which I think is actually just as hard, but again, you can also do this version where we're doing the march, bring that knee up as high as you can, really feel those abs working. And making sure you're not just holding your breath here, take a nice deep breath in and out. 5 more seconds. All right. Then we have our row on the other side. So I'm going to show it without the band here. So on the left, same thing, kind of bending over here a little bit, and I'm going to pull back. This one, I'm using my water bottle as like a little weight, but if you don't have a water bottle, I'm just going to do body weight. You want to think about this shoulder blade here, squeezing in the back. 10 more seconds. All right, that was our first round of that one. So we have 2 more. Again, we're gonna get ready by going behind our chair here or staying seated if you're doing the seated calf raise. So holding onto the back of the chair, raise all the way up onto the balls of your feet, slowly lowering down. And if you're doing the seated version, it's the same thing. You're seated here, and you're just lifting nice and controlled up and lowering it back down. Again, nice slow lower here. You're going to feel your calves really working there to lower yourself down with control. All right. I'm going to come back around for our row. So again, on the right this time, standing onto the bottom of the band and holding at your hand level, hinging from the hips. You're going to bring it up nice and controlled. Squeeze that shoulder blade together in the back, slowly lowering it. And you can see that Madison is also kind of hinging from her hips a little bit here in the chair. Still a nice, slow and controlled row. And with these bands, it's if you need to make anything easier, you can just grip a little bit higher up. So it's not quite as much resistance here when you're pulling. And the opposite is true. If you wanted to make it harder, you could grab a little bit farther down and increase the resistance that way. All right, we have our standing crunches. So either seated or standing, hands are back behind your head. And then we're going to twist and crunch. Again, if you want, you can do the high marches here, avoiding that twist, just bringing your knees in. Make sure you're taking nice deep breaths in and out. Last one. All right, and then we have our row on the left. Do the seated version this time. So I'm standing on the band, holding it nice and tight, and then pull up, slowly lowering it down. From the side here, you can see I'm going to keep that elbow kind of going back behind me. You guys look good. All right, 15 more seconds here. This one is working those kind of similar postural muscles as the scapular retraction that we did. So nice way to keep everything in your nice kind of posture while you're walking around. All right, we have our very last circuit. So last round, we're back for our calf raises, holding onto the back of the chair. Feet are hip width apart, and you're raising all the way up onto the balls of your feet, slowly lowering it down. You guys look great. 20 more seconds. After all these calf raises, you're going to be power walking around town so fast. All right, one more. Slowly lower it down. Nice. Okay, so our last row on the right, holding onto the bands, keeping that elbow nice and close as you bring it back behind you to row up. So it's like you're trying to start a lawnmower, if anyone does that anymore. 15 more seconds here. All right, one more big row here. Slowly lower it down. All right, last time would be standing oblique crunches. So hands are back behind your head. And then we're gonna get ready to bring one knee to your elbow and back. So. These kind of twisting motions are nice to do if you are kind of out walking around. You want to be able to look out and see if somebody's back behind you. Move out of the way for people, or if you're still driving and you need to kind of look back behind you. So. Still taking nice deep breaths in and out. And last crunch. All right. Row on the left. Our last exercise before our stretches. So standing on your band, keeping your arm in. We're going to hinge at the hips here. Keeping that elbow nice and close as it goes back behind you, staying kind of in line with your body. And a nice slow lower down. Or if we're using a water bottle here. Just a few seconds left. All right, you guys survived all of our circuits. Go ahead and take a sip of water. And we are going to get ready for some nice stretches. So we will be using the chair for the stretches here. So keep your chair handy. Give yourself a pat on the back. Maybe high five your neighbor on the Zoom screen. All right, so we're going to be holding these stretches for about 30 seconds each. The first one, we're going to be using our chair here. And similar to last time, Madison's going to be doing kind of an easier modification, and Carmen's just going to be following along with what I say, so doing the one that we're describing here. So the first one, we are going to be using the chair either here or on the back here to do a hamstring stretch. So I'm going to keep my feet hip width apart here and then bend over so that I'm doing a nice stretch here with my hands on the chair seat here. So otherwise, you can do a seated version like Madison is doing here. She's going to stick one leg out and bend over. So I'm going to start the timer if everyone is ready. All right, so go ahead and do either version of the hamstring stretch here. So kind of bending over here. If you happen to be really flexible, you can always go down to your elbows here. But I think this one is a great stretch too. So, And here I'm making sure that my back is still staying flat. I'm not letting my back arch a ton here. All right, so we'll go ahead and come up out of that. If you're doing the modified version that Madison's doing, you're gonna switch legs. Otherwise, we're gonna do a second set of the same one. And this stretch you should be feeling in the back of your legs here. You might even feel it going down to your calf a little bit. And it should be like a nice gentle stretch. You don't want to feel any sharp pains or anything like that. All right, the next version is going to be a quad stretch. So I'm going to grab my ankle here on the right. From the side, it looks like this. Madison is going to do a version in the chair where she's sitting on the edge of the chair. Oh, maybe it's a little too high. Okay, so she's going to sit on, there we go, the edge of the chair here, and she has her leg back behind her. So it looks a little bit like this, and she's bringing this leg back behind her to feel a stretch here. All right, we're going to switch legs. So we'll do the same thing on the left, either holding your ankle here, I'm going to hop to the side so you can see and kind of bring it up towards me, or doing this, again, version in the chair where I'm seated here, bringing one leg back behind me. This move you should feel in the front of your legs here. Should be a nice stretch. All right, the next one we're gonna come and sit in our chairs. So I'm gonna come and take a seat. And this one, I'm gonna bring my right ankle over my knee here. And then if you still need more of a stretch here, you can kind of bend forward at your waist. Otherwise, if you feel like that's too much, we're gonna grab our thigh here and think about pulling it towards our opposite shoulder. Or so we're gonna hold for just a few more seconds. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I'm gonna lower that and bring my leg up here. And then so my ankle is crossed over my knee here. I'm just slowly bending forward from my waist until I feel a stretch out here in the outer side of my hip and glutes. I'm gonna hold that for also just a few more seconds here. All right, we'll slowly come up out of that. Our next one is gonna be an arm stretch. So I'm gonna take my right arm and I'm gonna reach back behind me like I'm trying to touch my upper back here. So from the back, it looks like this. So it can be anywhere. Maybe you're kind of reaching the back of your head, back here. I really like this stretch because you have to do this a lot in your life when you're kind of brushing or combing your hair or trying to put a necklace on. So this is a really great one to do. I'm gonna go ahead and switch arms. So I'm gonna bring that left arm up and over with the palm of my hand reaching for my upper back, neck, or head. If you wanted a little bit more, you can always grab onto the elbow here, but I don't want you to crank it over, just a nice gentle stretch. All right, and then our last one, I'm gonna turn to the back so you can see I'm taking my hand back behind me and putting the back of my hand on my back here. Now, if that is super hard for you, you can use your resistance band here to have it kind of back behind you and pull your arm up so that you're holding it back here, pulling it up. This one is also a nice functional movement if you're trying to dress and need to get back to the back of you, or if you want to put sunblock on your back. So we're gonna switch and do the other arm. So left arm, the back of my hand is coming to my back here. So I'm reaching back behind me. It doesn't have to be as high as this, it can be lower. Maybe it's on your lower back here. Like I said, you can always use the resistance band here. And I'm kind of pulling it up here so that I can get a stretch. We're here. All right, so that is the end of our class for you today. We really enjoyed teaching you all, and I hope that you'll come to our next class. Jonah is going to send out a survey. If you have time to fill it out, that would be really great. This is the first time we've taught this class, so we would love feedback on what exercises you did like or didn't like, or things you want us to change for next time. And we'll definitely be taking that into account for the next 2 classes. So if you can fill it out, that would be great. We hope to see you. If you felt like this was kind of a good level for you, I think any of you would be more than welcome in our intermediate class, which will be very similar to this class. And I was watching you guys on the video. It looked like everybody was doing well. So I think any of you would be more than welcome in that class. So. And before we go, if anyone has any questions that we can answer.
Yes.
Someone asked how often you should do the exercises.
Sure. We would recommend that you do these exercises. It kind of depends on how hard it is for you, but I would start out maybe 3 times a week. And I would make sure it's not in a row. So I might do like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So that way you have a break in between so your muscles can kind of recover in that rest period.
Hi. When are the next 2 classes, please?
Sure. The next 2 classes will be the same time, the next 2 weeks. So Tuesday at 2 next
Okay,
and the following
great.
week.
Okay, means I have to cancel something else. Thank you very much for
Oh,
this.
I'm sorry, but we feel very honored.
So will you be like sending a handout that shows the exercises?
We could.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, sure. We can do that. And there'll also be the recording so that you can follow along.
Oh, we have the recording. Oh, okay. That's even better.
Okay, great.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, wonderful. This was really, really good.
Oh, great. I'm so happy. We were a little bit nervous.
No, you did a good job.
Thank you.
May I ask a personal question?
Sure.
On the rowing movement, just on one side, as my arm is coming back, I feel like a click in the clavicle. Is that the bone that goes across the front?
Yep.
Yeah. Is that unusual?
Is Dr. Rucker Bussy here?
Yes, I am. I'm still here. Hi, I'm Dr. Rucker Bessie. I am their professor, and that is a really great question. So a lot of times when you hear a little pop, especially in a joint space, it's usually just some air releasing itself from that joint space. As long as you don't find yourself having any sharp pain or any sensation, like any sort of pain there, you should be okay with doing that exercise. If you do have pain there, we invite you to move in the pain-free range and always seek a medical professional, a physical therapist for advice.
Thank you. No pain, thankfully. Just
Awesome. Yep, then you're fine.
All right. Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, excellent, excellent, excellent.
Oh, that is so nice to hear.
And my giraffe that was on the screen thanks you too.
Thank you, everyone, and I hope to see you at our class next week as well.
Yeah, see you next Tuesday.